I fall in love too easily. 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 I fall in love too easily.
What is going on, YouTube land? I am Chris Catalunya. Before we get into this shoe review today, go ahead and check out my Instagram, Chris Catalunya with the underscore at the end. Go and subscribe to my channel on the bottom right. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video by the end of it, hit me up with a thumbs up. Alright guys, let's get into it. So if you've seen my previous videos before, you already know that I'm a big time advocate for the Vans Corporation. I love that classic old school look. I love the materials that they use on their shoes. It's very quality and it's just something that I grew up with. This was definitely a big time part of my childhood. So in typical Chris Catalunya style, let's get into the history of this shoe. Now this is called the Vans Old Skool. Back then it was called style number 36. Style number 36 was actually introduced in 1977 by the Doran brothers. Style number 36 wasn't the first style of shoes that the Vans company made. However, it was the first style of shoe to incorporate that jazz note stripe right here. And the reasoning why they incorporated this jazz stripe was because Paul Van Doren, he was seeing like other brands come up with their identities. They had Nike with the swooshes, they had Adidas with the 3 striping and the trefoil logo, so he wanted a way to distinguish his shoes from the rest of the bunch. So the jazz stripe, that was the answer to that. Also, what was special about Vans style number 36 or the Old Skool was that this was the first shoe in the Vans lineup to incorporate leather. So let's actually discuss the shoe at hand. This is the Vans Old Skool Yacht Club style, and this released on like February, March of 2018. I know I'm kind of late for this review, but this is like a new to me shoe. It's not a new shoe, it's new to me. At that same release period, this was also released with a slip-on style, which has the same color scheme going on. This shoe retailed at a price of $60 USD, and then add your tax about $10 to $20 just based on your location. Now, like how I was saying, this shoe is new to me. They actually restocked this shoe recently, and I was able to collect on this shoe for about $50 via Foot Locker, and they offered free shipping, so it was a no-brainer for me to get this shoe, and I really liked it at the time in February, March, but it sold out really fast. In terms of resale, this morning I looked on StockX and this was going for about $70. In terms of payout or profit, you're not going to make too much. If anything, you'll break even. If anything, you could collect sellers points or seller levels if that's what you're into. Again, I really love this shoe. I really wanted to get this shoe back in February or March 2018, but it sold out really fast. I have an affinity for this shoe, and that's because I used to have a Volkswagen MK3 Golf. And you're probably like, what the hell does a car have to do with this shoe? And being into the import car scene, being into like European cars, a lot of Golf owners, a lot of Corrado owners aspired to have this one particular car that Volkswagen made. And it was one of those one-off editions, one of those really, really rare cars. And it was called the Volkswagen Golf Harlequin. And I know a bunch of y'all are probably like, what the hell? This was a real car? Y'all really wanted this car? And yeah, we really wanted this car. This car was pretty crazy. Volkswagen actually manufactured this car. They took the pieces and switched it up amongst 250 different cars, and they sold these cars. This was a real car. I think the original intent in mixing the different door panels and whatnot was for like the Atlanta Olympics in 1996, and then after that they like sold them off or something like that. But yeah, people really wanted this car, and I was one of those people. But yeah, there were 250 of them made. I don't know how many are still intact now, but that car reminds me of this shoe. Come on guys, like it's like a direct resemblance. So yeah, that's why I had the affinity for this shoe, and just to have this shoe on my feet just as a daily reminder of that car, it's call me stupid. So let's actually get into the details of the shoe. On both the lateral and the medial side of the shoe, you can see this green canvas right here, and that's painted on. And you also see that jazz stripe that is stitched onto that green panel. Now, this jazz note is actually made out of a leather material and is painted in white. Reaching towards the front of the shoe, we have this toe box or vamp area. Now, this vamp area is done in a royal blue color, and it's actually dyed into the nubuck material. And what I like about this vamp or toe box is how it complements the lacing system. So the lacing system starts from the bottom and goes all the way to the top of the shoe, and is still made out of that same material, that nubuck, and is too dyed in that royal blue. So you have the lacing system and the eyelets that are punched into both the lateral and the medial sides of the shoe. What I like about this particular old school style shoe that you don't see the other old school styles doing is that the default lace is of a nylon rope. Again, other Vans old schools, they don't usually provide that nylon rope lace. They usually provide the flat white lace made out of cotton. And luckily in this set, they provide both the nylon and the cotton set. And they also provide the Vans off the wall sticker too. And one thing I forgot to mention about this nylon rope lace is about the oglet. So the oglet is actually of a metal material, and it's coated in like a rubberized white color. And it feels really quality. Now, behind that lacing system is going to be the tongue. This tongue is actually made out of a canvas material, and it's painted in that red color. The back side of the tongue is done up in that bleached white color. Getting into the heel of the shoe, you will see this bright sunny yellow coloring being done, and that's actually dyed on top of some leather nubuck material, the same nubuck that is used on the eyelets and the toe vamp area. Above the sunny yellow panel is where the lateral and the medial sides of the shoe meet, and they're stitched together right above that panel. Now let's talk about the lining of the shoe. The lining at the neck area is actually done up in a white leather material, and below that is done up in a white, like a bleached white canvas, much like the tongue of the shoe is. Now, I'm not a big fan of this, especially since the inside of the shoe can trap a lot of dirt. I wish they would have painted this like a black color or a darker color, something that's not white. The insole of the shoe, you can see the bed is done up in a red fabric, and at the heel of it has the Vans logo outlined in white. And believe me, I tried to take out the insole of the shoe, but it's glued down pretty well, so I couldn't show you how thin it is. Getting into the midsole of the shoe, you can see that it's done up predominantly in this white vulcanized rubber. Now, vulcanized is a process that you put shoes into a really hot oven to complete the shoe. Now, most shoes from Nike, from Adidas, from like these sports companies or whatnot, they employ techniques in which they use prime knit materials or some type of synthetic fabric that can't be put into an oven. This method is called cup soled. Now, in stating that, those shoes, you'll find a lot more cushioning systems or more technology with them. With the vulcanized shoe, you don't have that cushioning there because it's going into that oven, and if this was employing like a crazy like technology bed or whatnot, that material could possibly melt, or not possibly, it will melt in the oven. So that's why you don't see a lot of cushioning system in these types of shoes or shoes from Converse. Anything with that classic style. So getting towards the front of the shoe, you'll see this area that's a little more texturized than the rest of the rubber, and it protrudes a little more from the rest of the rubber. This is called the bumper. Now the bumper, it prolongs the life of the shoe by preventing fraying from the top of the toe box area. Like when you're creating friction, when you're dragging your foot across grip tape or hitting walls or whatnot. At the back of the midsole, you have that Vans off the wall logo with the skateboard, and that's actually printed on top of some red rubber. Now, the outsole of the shoe is what made Vans famous because it is a gum-soled shoe and it's done in that waffle design. And you already know that employing the use of gum rubber, it's sticky, it enables traction, it's just an all-around good material, and it's pretty stable. So let's talk fitment about this shoe. Normally when I'm wearing Vans, Nike, etc., I'm usually rocking a size 8.5 or a 9 US. When I put my foot in this shoe, I definitely have a little space at the top, anywhere from a half centimeter to a full centimeter. And I actually like that much wiggle room in my shoe. I definitely think this is a true to size shoe. Concerning comfortability, this shoe does not offer too much in cushioning, and it definitely doesn't offer anything in support. I definitely suggest that you go and buy a third-party insole from Dick's Sporting Goods or Academy Sports and Outdoors or whatever retailer that is out there. In summation, I really do love this shoe. I think the styling of the shoe is really great. I really think that the colors pop on the shoe. I love the laces that they provided on the shoe, especially since they don't provide these laces on other old school shoes. But what I love most of all about this shoe is the story that I have with the Volkswagen Golf Harlequin car. I really love that car. And even though that car will probably never be attainable in my lifetime, being that they only produce 250 units of it, just having these shoes and having the reminder, I can live with that. And the price point that this shoe is set at, between that $50 and $60 limit, I think that's pretty reasonable, and that still leaves you some change to go out and buy that insole with more support and more cushioning. This is a cool style to rock. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much it for my review today. What do you think about this shoe, the Yacht Club Old Skool? Is it a good pickup? A bad pickup? Let me know down in the comments below. Go ahead and check my Instagram out, Chris.Delunia with the underscore at the end. Go and subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it, and hit me up with a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Alright guys, I am Chris.Delunia, and we'll check you next time. Sige na!